Hello? Oh, hi, Nan. Yeah, I can't really talk right now. You've literally caught me just as I'm starting to record a YouTube video. Yeah, I'm making yes. You wanna be in it? No, you can't be in it, Nan. Sorry. What's that? You wanna come to my show? You wanna come to Nan? You're in a Zimmer frame. Like, what are you gonna do? Come and join the Neurofunk rave and share your Zimmer frame around with all the ravers? Like, no, Nan. I've seen how you use the shopping trolley at Aldi, Nan. Like, you're slower than a fat kid on a Stairmaster, do you know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. Yeah, no, sorry. Okay, yeah. I suppose... Alright. I suppose you want me to make you a Vital preset today as well, don't you? Yeah. What, you want it to be funky? Why do you need it to be funky, Nan? You're in a Zimmer frame, you can't even dance. Okay. Alright, you want it to be so bassy it makes your teeth chatter, your false teeth. Right, okay, gotcha. Alright, what's that, a triple LFO sandwich? You want a triple LFO sandwich in your Vital preset? Alright, I'll see what I can do. Let's get into it. Alright then, my G's, so I've got a pretty dope Neurofunk bass for you guys today. It's sort of a Neurofunk with a bit of a deeper rolling kind of vibe, and made it in Vital. Easy to follow along. I'm going to show you how I made it. And I did use a triple LFO sandwich to create the groove. It's one of the coolest little grooves I've made so far. So if you copy it, just make sure that you credit me in the final release track once you're famous. Anyway, what I've done is I've gone on to process it a little bit and chop up the audio slightly as well. So I'll play you like the kind of final loop that I've got here, and then we'll jump into the Vital patch. But yes, here is a little preview. So, very nice. Let's jump into the original bass where the groove is slightly different. Same but different, pretty much. And yeah, let's jump into the voicing. So, to start off this patch, we have a combination of two sine waves and then a harmonic series, which is basically also another sine wave. It just bends a little bit. And then we can also inject some wind, which is one of the little textures I made on Discord for the little kind of, yeah, nice little high-end like addition that you can add to the sound. And we're going to do a combination of FM between the sine waves and also a nice amount of unison attention to get that exactly right. So yeah, we got a basic shapes at -12, and then I've got the one same again at -24, and then I've got the harmonic series at 0, and this the level of this one is off, and it's just going to be used as an FM trigger, and then we've got a sample wind section. Okay, so what's going to happen is this harmonic series is going to go into oscillator 1. It's quite subtle, and then this oscillator is going to go into oscillator 2 here. And we can start to add some movement already, so I'm going to reactivate my LFO. And so what I've done with the LFOs to create the triple LFO sandwich is I've got a ramp down on my first one. So this is the main LFO that everything's tracked to. And then I'm using LFO 2 to modulate the slider. So it's activated here on the slider of LFO 1, turned all the way up. And it's just a triangle. And I've just timed it with the seconds here. And then LFO 3 is going to modulate the slider of LFO 2. So you see it's on here. So essentially, this is going to change, LFO 3 is going to change the position of LFO 2, which is changing the starting time of LFO 1. So put it all together. That's how I get all these kind of random like funky grooves to the sound, you know? And obviously I've already sort of timed it right, so if I was to move one of these out of whack, it'd be very different, and I need to get it exactly bang on again to 709. So bear with me. There it is. Oh, it will be very different if it's slightly out. Here she is. I put the glide on as well, and the legato with the voices. So I've just got a little sort of E going up to G. Just a little sort of Grace note. Shout out to Grace. I don't know who Grace is. In my MIDI, that's going on as well. And yeah, so all these crazy rhythms and funkiness, they're all to give that main LFO1 an edge, So everything's running through LFO1 still. So all of our modulations are going to go to LFO1. So a little bit on the FM amount here. So that's like the growl. Basically, that harmonic series, it goes, through the first oscillator. And then as this FM's again is the second one, it's kind of already still in there. So when I turn this FM up, it's sort of bringing out a little bit of that sort of growl from the harmonic series, via oscillator 1 and then in from oscillator 2. So a little bit complicated, and like that's the routing though, So yeah, kind of like it around there. And then we add in our filters next, just to shape the sound a bit. And first thing I did was the wind, because I want to take out some of that low end. So it's just like essentially, a nice soft white noise in the high end. And I'm just modulating that on a filter as well. So the high pass is sort of coming down a little bit. So that sounds really cool. And then I've got a filter here on just one of my oscillators, the second one to be precise. A little low pass with a bit of resonance on. You can hear it. It makes it a bit sort of more tamed in a way, but it's kind of nice. I quite liked it. Yes, it feels a bit more of a cohesive sound when you sort of take a little bit of that high end out from that one. So that's pretty much the voicing done. All I will mention is as well that I did play with the unison on them all, and I found that this is kind of first one and third one. That's not so important, that one, but here the 10%. Yeah, that's really important to get that one right as well. So it's going to move the sound around in the stereo kind of spectrum with the detuning, obviously. So too much is going to break apart, So you get a few percentage where you can like kind of hone in on the groove, and 10% was pretty good around there. So I've to get the groove of the sound, I've honed in on the exact unison amount to like get it to sort of fit with the rhythm of the drums. And then, like I said before, with my LFO sandwich, I've like really gone in on the seconds of LFO1, the seconds of LFO2, and the seconds of LFO3, and just tweaked it up and down and listened until I found a groove that kind of fits. That's like a really sick, like funky kind of beat, So anyway, once that's all done, let's move on to the effects. So we're just going to be using 6 effects, and first up is the compressor, and this is going to add in like a nice bit of high-end signal as well. So that kind of noise that we had in earlier is really going to be exaggerated with the compressor, especially when the attack's up, the release is up, so we're letting the kind of full compressor like algorithm work. And again, like it's not really a compressor, it's kind of just like saturating and distorting the signal in a way. So what I'm just doing is mixing in the effects on the LFO1. It's a little bit too noisy up there, so I just want a little bit. Then we're going to add in the distortion, and I'm going to use the sine fold. I'm driving it up just a little bit, 2 dB, because it started to get a bit over distorted beyond that. And what I'm doing is I'm going to modulate the kind of filter here. So it's on the pre mode, so it's going to be filtering before that distortion. On the cutoff here, and then I'm just going to mix that effect in. So we got a little bit more kind of low pass movement. But we're not taking all of the sort of high end out, But we're getting a more dynamic like pump going on in the low end. The pump, gonna get the pump. And then, EQ. I just thought, where can I boost a little bit? And I did want to boost the high end a little bit here. So yeah, went on and did that, and then filter, phaser positive. Just wanted to get a little bit more of a like different tone from the sound. So what I ended up doing was locating that kind of growly mid-range groove sort of tone that you get around here. Put that on the LFO, and then just mix that off, and whack that all the way up on the LFO. So just get a little teaser of that groove coming in. Then, like, I've got a little tiny bit of chorus that you don't really notice much, but it's like 1 or 2%. Kind of does help to like blend the sound together by sort of spreading it out very, very slightly. And then reverb just to add like a minuscule tail. You can barely notice it, but it will make it a bit more natural, so around 2%. So that's basically the effects, and if I'm not mistaken, that's pretty much the whole patch. And I haven't even named it yet, but I'm going to do it right on the spot. Let's call it the Zimmer frame bass. I don't know if I spelled that right. Hans Zimmer. He holds a very masculine frame, so Hans Zimmer frame bass. Anyway, let's move on to the next part of the video, which is, what's it going to be? Oh yeah, the processing. So basically, because we've made pretty cool sound, don't have to do too much, and mostly what we're going to do is just tidy it up a little bit, and also we're just going to chop the groove around. So here's one I prepared earlier. I basically just cut a couple of little things and moved them around to get... You can hear that horrible, horrible clicking, can't you? I didn't notice that before with all the drums and everything, but let's fade that off. There we go. Play that with our beat then. So essentially I've located my favourite little funky, like kind of split second parts of the loop, and then I've just chopped those and thought, oh, they've got the coolest little groove going on, and then I'm going to move those guys around and make a new pattern using those like favorite little bits of audio. And then what I'm doing, just to clean up the processing again, I've just sort of put on a nice high shelf on everything, because it just kind of, it's not much high end in there to begin with, and just by adding that in, it just helps give the whole sound a little bit more air, and it just kind of works. And then, like, because we used like a lot of unison in the like design process with the sine waves, all like in the low end, it's really got a lot of stereo down here. And in a sense, it's difficult because that stereo low end sine wave is giving it the kind of giving it its main sound. So if we start to take out too much of the stereo, like up here at 100, I feel like I already lose a bit of that character. So what I've done is I've just done like a sort of, very, taking out the real like subby area on the stereo. You can see there's still a little bit in there. But in this case, it might be where I would, sculpt out a little bit at a time, just to get a smoother kind of like taming of the low end in the side information. Because obviously we don't want that rumble in there so much, but taking out too much in one go kind of destroys the sound a bit as well. So it's a fine art to take this out here. But anyway, pretty happy with what I've done there. And then I've just gone for an LFO on the kick, and it's quite a long boomy kick, so I've made my dips pretty long, and then I've just not turned the volume all the way to 100, because otherwise it's pretty choppy. So I'm just mixing in a little bit, so we're just ducking down the volume, not all the way, but for a kind of longer duration, just because that's kind of what this kick wanted, I think. So that's like the processing on that, and pretty nice loop overall. Maybe something to convert into a track someday, if one of you doesn't do it first. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it, and make sure that you say hi to your nan and make sure she's all right. And if she's no longer with us, then just give God a call and say, can I speak to Nan? And he'll probably be like, no, see you later.